I used to believe love could survive anything, distance, money problems, even family drama. But I was wrong. Love can survive a lot, yes, but it struggles to survive a whisper repeated often enough. And my mother-in-law, Evelyn, was a master of whispers. When I married Marcus, I thought I was marrying a man who believed in me. We were inseparable in the beginning. Late-night talks, spontaneous road trips, Sunday mornings with pancakes and bad coffee. He used to tell me I was his peace. I never thought that peace could be so easily shattered. Evelyn was charming in that delicate, polite way that made people adore her. To outsiders, she was elegance itself. Pearls, tailored blouses, that soft, controlled smile that made you feel small and cared for at the same time. But to me, she was something else. I noticed it early, in small things, how she'd compliment me in public but correct me in private, how she'd take over conversations, then say, "Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt, dear." She'd laugh it off, but her eyes would flicker, cold and sharp. Marcus never noticed. Or maybe he chose not to. It started subtly. A misplaced comment here, a quiet suggestion there. "Are you sure you're eating enough? You look tired lately." Then she'd turn to Marcus and say, "She works too much. Maybe she's overwhelmed." The word overwhelmed clung to me like a label. I laughed it off, told myself I was imagining it. But soon, Marcus began repeating her phrases. "You do look tired," he'd say. "Maybe take a break from work." He meant well, I thought. He loved me. But over time, his concerns started to sound more like doubt. "You're being too sensitive," he'd say when I tried to explain how his mother made me feel. "She just cares." Care. That word became poison, because caring doesn't look like smiling while twisting the knife. One evening, I overheard them talking in the kitchen when they thought I was asleep. Evelyn's voice was low, deliberate. "She's not herself lately, Marcus. Have you noticed? The mood swings, the overreactions. I'm worried." He sighed, tired. "She's been stressed," he said. Evelyn continued, "I know, but maybe she should see someone, just to be sure. You don't want things to get worse." My breath caught in my throat. I wanted to walk in, to shout, but I couldn't move. My body froze. I realized she wasn't just trying to make me look bad. She was rewriting who I was. Over the next few weeks, I saw the change in Marcus. He watched me more closely, questioned small things. If I forgot my keys, he'd look concerned. If I cried during a movie, he'd frown slightly, like he was diagnosing me. I was becoming the unstable wife his mother described. And the more I tried to defend myself, the more I sounded exactly like her version of me, emotional, paranoid, unhinged. One afternoon, Evelyn dropped by unannounced, as she often did. She brought flowers, lilies, my least favorite, and a smile. "Just thought I'd check in, dear," she said sweetly. Marcus was home, working in his study. She looked around the living room, then at me. "I hope you're taking care of yourself," she said. Marcus worries. He doesn't say it, but I can tell. I wanted to scream. Instead, I smiled. "I'm fine, Evelyn." She sighed. "I hope so, dear, for both your sakes." That night, Marcus confronted me. "Did you tell my mom you're fine? She said you looked upset." I blanked, speechless. "She asked if I'm okay, Marcus, that's all." He frowned. "She said you were trembling?" I laughed in disbelief. I wasn't. He didn't answer. He just looked at me like he wasn't sure anymore. That look broke something inside me. I realized then that Evelyn wasn't destroying me quickly. She was eroding me, piece by piece, until nothing I said would sound sane. The next morning, I called my sister Jenna and told her everything. She was furious. "You can't fight her by defending yourself," she said. "You need proof. Make her expose herself." Proof. The word echoed in my mind. And that's when a dangerous, perfect idea began forming. The next time Evelyn visited, I made sure my phone's voice recorder was on. I left it on the kitchen counter while I prepared tea. She started as usual, polite, harmless chatter. But soon her tone shifted. "You should be careful, dear," she said softly. Men get tired of emotional women. They don't say it, but they do. I forced a smile. Emotional? She smiled back. You know, the little things. Getting defensive, overthinking. I told Marcus it's probably just hormones. My hands tightened around the teapot handle. You told him that? Of course. He worries, she replied casually. Then, almost laughing, she added, I had to test him somehow, see if he'd believe me. Don't look so shocked. It's for his own good. Men need guidance. I kept my face calm even as my heart pounded. She was confessing, proudly. I let her talk, nodding like a student listening to a lecture. When she left, I locked myself in the bedroom and replayed the recording. Every word was there, clear, deliberate, cruel. I listened twice, then 3 times. Relief mixed with fury. She wanted to test him? Fine. I'd make sure the test went public. For days, I acted normal. Marcus still looked at me with that faint, distant doubt, but I didn't fight it. I needed him calm. I needed him comfortable. Then I told him I wanted to host a family dinner. Your mother, my parents, maybe a few cousins, I said. It's been a while. He seemed surprised but pleased. That sounds great, he said. You sure you're up for it? I smiled. Absolutely. I spent the week preparing everything. The food, the decor, the seating. Every detail mattered. My plan had to look like pure hospitality, not strategy. On Friday evening, the house was warm, candlelit, filled with laughter and the smell of roasted chicken. My parents chatted happily, unaware of the storm about to break. Evelyn arrived in pearls and perfume, beaming as if she owned the night. She kissed my cheek and whispered, I'm glad to see you're doing better. I smiled, teeth tight. I've never felt clearer. Dinner went smoothly. Evelyn charmed everyone. Marcus relaxed. And when dessert came, I stood up with my phone in hand. Before we finish, I said, my voice calm, I want to play something. Marcus looked confused. Play what? Evelyn's smile faltered. Just a little something I recorded by accident. I tapped play. Her voice filled the room. Men get tired of emotional women. I told Marcus it's probably just hormones. I had to test him somehow, see if he'd believe me. Don't look so shocked. It's for his own good. The air shifted instantly. My mother gasped. My father's jaw tightened. Marcus's face drained of color. Evelyn's fork clattered against her plate. That's taken out of context, she stammered. I looked at her, calm as stone. Really? Because it sounds pretty clear. Marcus turned to her slowly. You said those things? His voice was low, dangerous. She tried to reach for him. Marcus, she's twisting. Mom, he cut her off. That's your voice. Silence. You could hear the clock ticking. I didn't gloat. I just watched her world collapse the way she'd tried to collapse mine. Evelyn stood abruptly. I don't have to stay here and be humiliated. She grabbed her purse and stormed out. Marcus sat frozen, eyes fixed on the table. The others quietly excused themselves. When we were alone, he looked at me with tears forming. Why didn't you tell me you had this? I exhaled slowly. Because you wouldn't have believed me, not until you heard her yourself. He closed his eyes, ashamed. I'm so sorry, he whispered. I didn't answer. I was too tired for forgiveness. That night, he slept on the couch. I stayed awake in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying everything. Her voice, his silence, my plan. It hadn't felt like victory. It felt like survival. By morning, Evelyn had texted him, long, apologetic messages claiming she was testing his loyalty and that I'd misunderstood her intentions. He didn't reply. Days passed, then weeks. We barely spoke. I thought maybe the truth would heal us, but sometimes truth only shows you how deep the cracks already are. One evening, Marcus came home early. He sat across from me, hands clasped. I've been thinking, he said quietly, about everything. About how easily I doubted you. I waited. I want to fix this, he said. I want us back. I studied his face, the same face that once looked at me with love, then suspicion, now regret. You believed her more than me, I said softly. That doesn't go away with an apology. He nodded. I know, but I'll spend the rest of my life proving it if you let me. For a long time, I said nothing. Then I realized maybe I didn't want him to prove anything. I'd already proven enough. The version of me that begged to be believed was gone. In her place stood someone stronger, quieter, but unbreakable. Marcus, I said gently, I forgive you, but I can't go back. He closed his eyes, pain flashing across his face. I stood up, kissed his forehead, and walked to the bedroom to pack a small bag. Where will you go? He asked. Somewhere peaceful, I said. A week later, I moved into a small apartment downtown. It was quiet, bright, filled with plants and sunlight, everything Evelyn's house of whispers never had. I started therapy, picked up painting again, even joined a local reading club. Sometimes Marcus texted to check in. He said his mother was in counseling, but she wanted to apologize. I never responded. Days passed, then weeks. We barely spoke. I thought maybe the truth would heal us, but sometimes truth only shows you how deep the cracks already are. One evening, Marcus came home early. He sat across from me, hands clasped. I've been thinking, he said quietly, about everything, about how easily I doubted you. I waited. I want to fix this, he said. I want us back. I studied his face, the same face that once looked at me with love, then suspicion, now regret. You believed her more than me, I said softly. That doesn't go away with an apology. He nodded. I know, but I'll spend the rest of my life proving it if you let me. For a long time, I said nothing. Then I realized maybe I didn't want him to prove anything. I'd already proven enough. The version of me that begged to be believed was gone. In her place stood someone stronger, quieter, but unbreakable. Marcus, I said gently, I forgive you, but I can't go back. He closed his eyes, pain flashing across his face. I stood up, kissed his forehead, and walked to the bedroom to pack a small bag. Where will you go? He asked. Somewhere peaceful, I said. A week later, I moved into a small apartment downtown. It was quiet, bright, filled with plants and sunlight, everything Evelyn's house of whispers never had. I started therapy, picked up painting again, even joined a local reading club. Sometimes Marcus texted to check in. He said his mother was in counseling, that she wanted to apologize. I never responded. Because some apologies, no matter how tearful, come too late. Months turned into a year. One afternoon, I got an envelope in the mail, no return address. Inside was a note in Evelyn's handwriting. You taught me what real accountability feels like. I hope one day you'll see that I wasn't trying to destroy you. I was trying to control what I feared. You were strong enough to survive it. For that, I'm sorry. Truly. I read it twice. Then I folded it neatly, placed it in a drawer, and never opened it again. Because forgiveness, I learned, doesn't always mean letting people back in. Sometimes it just means letting go without hate. And that's how I finally silenced the whispers, not by shouting louder, but by choosing peace over proof. Because revenge isn't always about punishment. Sometimes it's about reclaiming your own narrative and walking away while they drown in the echo of their own lies. You've just stepped into her revenge side, where every wound finds its justice, and every silence ends with truth. If her story struck a chord, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Your support keeps these stories alive. Another secret waits in the next video. See how her revenge begins.